People say a lot about our democracy.
It's not over. We're going to expect more.
Some say what they know.
Is it that we deceive ourselves or not willing to discuss our differences?
Others say what they think is right.
The political will to effect that law is what we are lacking.
It takes 3 persons to eat 15 naira bread. I disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
My name is Kingsley Waninda Wali.
And the program is Democracy in Action on Today 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt.
I believe in you. Do you believe in me?
Good morning, everybody. Yes, a lot of you are saying, that's not the voice we're expecting to hear at this hour. What's going on? Where's K-Man? Well, don't worry. This is Democracy Today, and the gentleman who usually is at the helm of affairs is actually here, and he will be taking over from me in a few minutes. I am Jennifer Netima, and just like last week, I was given the honor of being here, and I was asked to come back again, so here I am. In my town, PH City, for life. And I have this to share with you, just as we shared last week. So if you would rather, take a listen to this. We deceive ourselves when we act as if misunderstandings are strange. In the beginning, society placed a lot of premium on crisis resolution, and those who, for whatever reason, decided not to follow the path of peace were compelled to one way or the other. Now, today, our society has lost the value of truth. This is why 2 contending parties are taken to court and given the Bible and Quran to swear, and they will go ahead and tell a lie. But if the same people are taken to the shrine, the chances are that the offender will confess. Why? Because there is the real fear of consequence with the shrine, real or imagined. Like Ross Alabo George will say, crime rate was low in the past when the traditional institutions held sway because the criminals knew the consequences of violating the laws of the land. On the contrary, the churches and mosques have taken over the space, with over 80% of the population headed for worship centers both on Fridays and Sundays. In fact, it is right to speculate that Fridays and Sundays are even more symbolic, as almost every day of the week is worship day somewhere. If we accept that our politicians, criminals, businessmen, and businesswomen, our youths, the elder statesmen, and traditional rulers are now religious and have pledged loyalty to the church and the mosque, doesn't it make sense to extrapolate that religion is a ready-made vehicle for good governance, peace, justice, and development? With this loyalty, the next question is, then, what is religion giving back to the society that is loyal to her institutions? What is the church doing to ensure that the fundamental principles of Christendom are ingrained in the heart, mind, and soul of all practitioners? Are we not worried that some religious leaders are even making matters worse with their language of communication, which has become extremely violent? When a man of God preaches death to those he disagrees with, is he not violating a fundamental tenet of the faith which says that we show love to even those who despise us? Why can't a church leader simply accept that those we don't agree with also have a right to live? Religion is pacifist activism. As Christians, we are aware that Jesus Christ was and is love, forgiveness, and mercy. Why then is the leadership of the church finding it difficult to directly or indirectly enforce love and forgiveness in the church and the society? If we accept that Jesus Christ is the Prince of Peace and that Islam means peace as well, why can't the religious leaders preach more peace rather than prosperity? Can there be prosperity if there is no peace? Where are the Christians in Syria today worshipping, and how prosperous are they today? Or are there no Christians in Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, northeastern Nigeria, and all other war theaters? Where is their prosperity? Don't we need peace to be able to freely worship God? What makes us think that Port Harcourt and the Niger Delta of today are different from Pakistan or any other killing fields? Don't we feel the deceit and foolery around us in the name of religion? Or how else do you describe the situation where we are constantly told of the do's and don'ts, yet our leaders troop to mosques on Fridays, churches on Saturdays and Sundays to listen to homilies, only to resume the political debauchery they call governance on Monday? I imagine how the heavens will rejoice the day religious leaders stop allowing Thanksgiving for processes and events that have left a trail of blood, anguish, and pain and death, quite frankly. Can this happen in our time? Religious leaders owe us the responsibility of preaching love, conscious of the inevitability of life and disagreements, hostility, hatred, bitterness that will result in misunderstanding. But, they have to teach us that forgiveness is the key to the resolution of all crises. How can a man come for Thanksgiving and communion in his heart, full of pain, anger, and revenge? Why should religious leaders accept to preside over a Thanksgiving service for a man or woman plotting another evil while seated or kneeling before the altar? Why should religious leaders host Thanksgiving services for APC and PDP leaders in River State and the Niger Delta region? Confession service? Yes. Thanksgiving? Capital no. All the show promoting sermons when politicians come for one church program or their own event under the guise of emergency reconciliation remain what they are: simple self-gratification. This will never serve or promote public good. There is therefore an urgent need for religious leaders and the church in particular to embark on the renewal by way of peace missions. The first missionary journey involved non-indigenous Europeans who really had no stake in our primitive state of nature, but felt that there was a compelling need to show the dark people the path of light, Jesus Christ. The second missionary journey should be the one that will involve the indigenous stakeholders, the church, and the leadership. Where are our own Desmond Tutus, Cardinal James Singhs, Olubunmi Okogies? Can we have our own Apostle Zili Agri and Bishop David Ibiome step out and stamp their religious authority on this land? Is this pain not painful enough? Home, they say, after all, is where the heart is.
Good morning and welcome to Democracy in Action. My name is Till Kingsley Wenendawali. We in the past couple of weeks have been talking about peace in our land, what my friend Eugene Bello would call the peace conversation. We had all kinds of people from different backgrounds come here and discuss peace. And because most of us here are Christians, we feel that you can't talk about peace without talking about Jesus Christ. And we equally feel that there are people who will consider the flag bearers. And we've been longing to hear from this category of people, the elders, the statesmen, the leaders. And I can tell you this morning that we're privileged to have one who, by virtue of his history, cuts across almost everything you will talk about that we've been looking for. A statesman, somebody who is part of the history of this state and the region, a man of God, profound one for that matter. And he's no less a person than the person that most people would rather call by one single name. But protocol would demand that I just go by what is his own Apostle Prince David Zili Agri. You're welcome to Democracy in Action.
Thank you, K1.
I do not think I want to go into telling you about who. Permit me, sir. I'm just going to go with what our people are used to. Zili.
Yes. I like that.
Exactly.
I like that too.
I'm sure a lot of people are more comfortable with that.
Yes.
When it's Apostle Zili, but it's Zili, everybody knows who Zili is. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
You had the long talk about where we are. And like I said, the history of this town cannot be complete without at least a paragraph written about Zili, which presupposes that you're part and parcel of this history.
Yeah.
The history of this state, the history of this town especially, and the history of this region. How happy are you with the way things are?
Well, First of all, it's relative. You're happy on one side. At the same time, you say, can I be totally happy? I'm happy because there is hope. But I'm not happy because we have relatively and collectively failed as a people. My generation particularly, including me, we have failed.
Am I lucky to be included? No. I was going to say, am I lucky to be included in that generation? If I remember, it's not something pleasant. So,
I'm 54 now. Been living in Port Harcourt since 1970. I know what Port Harcourt used to be as at 1970. And the Bible says a good man leaveth inheritance for his children's children. And so today, what inheritance are we, our generation? What are we leaving for our children? So the Port Harcourt we met, did we improve on it and then we want to now hand over to our children? Or the Port Harcourt that we met, we couldn't maintain it and we allowed the Port Harcourt we met to degenerate to a level where we are today? So relatively, I'm not happy, but I'm also happy that there is hope because there is life.
well, speaking from that perspective, tell us about Port Harcourt that you met.
By 1970, when the war was over, this nation fought a civil war for 3.5 years, and yet the economy did not collapse. By 1970, we had ECN, Electricity Corporation of Nigeria. We never had light go off. I lived in Borokri for 12 solid years from 1970 to 1982, and water was running in our taps. We didn't have anything to do with borehole. In fact, I can't even remember if anybody would build a house in 1975, 76.
I'm bothered about utilities.
And then borehole near a sockaway pit that will bring out all kinds of things, and then typhoid everywhere. Water was running. That's the Port Harcourt we met. The Port Harcourt we met, the socials of Port Harcourt at that time, the secondary schools, government comprehensive.
I didn't expect you to. I didn't expect you to go beyond that without being very comprehensive.
And then,
Apostle,
our girls, they have some girls.
There were bad schools like
Holy Rosary.
There was some bad school too there, like Kagama School.
OGS, KNC, all those, and debating society and all those things. Then during the holidays, we want to go to film. I lived in Borokri, so we could trek from Borokri to Ibadan Street. Central Cinema is there. Yeah. Maybe if the film that is showing that night maybe is Enter the Dragon, and I feel, no, I've watched it before. Let me go to Plaza. And if what is in Plaza is not what I want, we trek from there to Empress Cinema.
Okija Street.
Wow. Okija Street. And we walk back to Borokri. I mean, it was fun life. Maybe the only thing we used to do, maybe there was this Agaba masquerade, 07, 50-50, Kilamberry, like that. Highest, we use canes to flog ourselves, and that's all, But we didn't prepare to give to our children such a society where our kids can walk freely, trek back from school. I was in Baptist Day School, 93 Agri Road. School will close, and I will trek from there to Jubilee Park. And then we'll do through and then get fruit.
Oh, yeah.
Memories.
Memories. Friendship. We were friends. That friendship is lost completely right now. You don't even know who to call your friend anymore. There was friendship. You called somebody your bro. We didn't even want to know what part of River State you even come from. Nobody wants to know what part of River State you come from. Then it was the old River State. There was no Bielsa. Then it was the old River State. So nobody, I mean, those of us who our parents were not that rich, we could go up to Jerry. Then our friends whose parents were members of Port Harcourt Club, they could sign us in, and we enjoyed that life.
Apostle, what happened?
I think that we did not take time to plan for the future. You see, America has a university called the Yale University. Out of the students they admit every year, there are at least 15 special students that are employed. Admitted to be trained on how to be president of America, so that America must never lack capacity, a presidential material. You must not lack it. That's the third best university. We didn't plan for the future, and so an unplanned future is what has caused all this. Planning planning. As a religious leader, sometimes the other day during the military regime, there was a particular military governor in the state who gathered us at the civic center that we should pray, and the prayer topics were given to different persons. And then when it got to my turn, they said I should pray for infrastructural development. So I took the microphone and said, Your Excellency, with due respect, sir, the people in Japan, they don't pray for infrastructural development. The people in Dubai, they don't pray for. By the way, they don't even do all-night prayer meetings and be screaming and shouting for infrastructure development. Sir, what I think happens there is round pegs in round holes and square pegs in square holes. I say, Your Excellency, look for the best of men who can deliver the job and put them in position. When you make a medical doctor minister of power, when you make a banking guru, a doyen of modern banking as Minister for Science and Technology, these things don't go together. He wasn't really happy, but for me, I was just saying that if we want to talk about infrastructural development, it's not about prayer. Give the jobs to the right people and give responsibilities to the right people.
I thank God for today. I thank God that it's coming from you, yes, that you were asked to pray for infrastructural development, and you give it to the governor then and told him that it's not about prayers, because today if you go for any kind of function, state functions, informal, they said we start with prayer, we end with prayer, and nothing seems to be happening. Now, what is the church doing as a leader in that aspect of our life? It's one thing to tell the leadership what to do or what you think is right, and they just decide to ignore you. What is the church doing to make sure that they listen?
Also, the type of theology that is being churned out by the churches today are not theologies for modern transformation and development. It's unfortunate. A medical doctor, for somebody to be a medical doctor, you go to medical school, sometimes 7 years, and then you now go to specialize. So before someone comes out to say, I am a surgeon, he must have spent nearly a decade, if not more, before the human body, the physical aspect of man, is given to him to carry out such activities. Now here we are, we set up a Bible school, and in 90 days we have churned out agriculture type of pastoral leadership. How would you be able to handle the human soul, which is more complex than the human body? So it's unfortunate that we did not have transformation theological institutes that will train clergymen not only to preach about David and Goliath, Mary and Martha, but clergymen that will be well educated enough to understand socio-economic political transformation of nations, not only about preaching people to go to heaven. So that is where my generation of the clergy, we missed it completely, and now we are paying the price for it. The Catholic family, I give it to them. I respect the Catholic. You know, when I became CAN chairman, and I now understood more of the Catholics, you know, they educate their priests very well, and they encourage education. One of the gentlemen that was working with me in the CAN ESCO then, he is a well-read Catholic Reverend Father, and he was studying law and then to go to law school. He's a priest, so that he will not just stand behind the pulpit and address people on just David and Goliath and Mary and Angel Gabriel, but he will be able to address the people with a versatile level of knowledge. I think that's where the church is not able. For instance, if you tell a clergyman now to go and address the National Assembly, you will find from the Catholic institutes, the Reverend Father Matthew Kukas and the rest of them, they are very intelligent. They can go there and stand. But there are certain denominations, of which I wouldn't like to mention now. If you tell them to go and address the National Assembly, they will go there speaking tongues. Those people there have nothing to do with your speaking in tongues. Doesn't change anything. We haven't been able to produce bills that we can send in. But if people produce bills, we start shouting. So where are the Christian lawyers and the clergy who are educated enough to be able to come up with, because nations go up and come down by the type of laws that are being made. Now we have a democracy. beautiful opportunity for the Christian community to come up with the type of bills that will be able to go there, lobby their adherents and non-adherents of the Christian faith. If a law is going to benefit both Muslims and Christians and non-Christians and non-Muslims, everybody will buy into it, because if the economy is good, everybody will benefit. But up to this moment, I don't think we've been able to, with all the knowledge we have in the various churches. So there's quite a lot to do. That is why I say I take collective responsibility. I'm not putting blame on anybody. Nehemiah said, I and my father, we have sinned. So I'm saying that myself and my colleagues. But society is not only made up of the clergy only. We have the journalists, we have the traditional rulers, we have the
yes, Apostle, we'll have all of those.
Okay.
But the most important is about talking about moral burden now.
Yes.
The moral burden is on the church.
Yes.
In this part of the country.
Yes.
I mean, like you have readily admitted that we'll have a situation where church leaders have not been able to internalize whatever issues that we'll have. For example, I'm going to shoot straight. I just hope you will find this discomforting. River State is in a state of flux. Nothing seems to be happening in River State. We delude ourselves when we say that we'll have development. No. People are quarreling every day. We are in a perpetual state of elections for the past 1 or 2 years. We've just been doing nothing but politics. Other states have moved on. If you let's look at Lagos State, for example. Tinubu had a lot of issues with people over the electoral process, the nomination process. Or the Jimmy Agbaje, the left team, the PDP, elections were over. Jimmy went to the Supreme Court, blah blah, and all of that. And what's his name? Ambode is moving on as governor of River State. We'll see development. Governor of Lagos State, sorry. But in River State, we are still threatening every single day. And the elders don't seem to be bothered. And the elders who I'm talking about here now includes you and I. But you are in a more privileged position. You have a platform. Thousands of people listen to you. Thousands. They believe you. Right Honorable Chibuike Rotimi Amaechi is your friend. I've seen pictures of you with him, your wife, his wife. Chief Ezemo Wike, His Excellency Governor of River State, is your friend. Aren't you embarrassed?
Well,
I want to say they are your friends, and aren't you embarrassed?
You see, we got to a point in our political history where we got to now find out at what point did we lose it. First of all, by 2007, these two gentlemen that you just mentioned their name, my two friends, were so close. One was a governor, one was a chief of staff. Another gentleman was commissioner for works. Another gentleman was secretary to government. Another one was commissioner for health. They were all together. At what point? What really happened? That's why elder statesmen
like you,
we will have to now sit down, look for the best possible means to reconcile our sons. They are our sons. It was a very huge mistake that elder statesmen, the clergy, traditional rulers, and every one of us that are supposed to reconcile our sons, we watched them disintegrate and went their ways. It's unfortunate. It shouldn't have been so. They all have a history of working together from 2007. Some of them even before 2007. So at what point did our sons suddenly? How come? So we, the fathers, we were watching them. One or two clergymen did maybe try to bring them together and to talk, but probably a solo effort probably shouldn't have been the best idea. Probably. Well, there are certain traditional rulers also that may have played certain roles, but it should have been a collective effort of gathering people from different sections and sectors of leadership within the state. The traditional rulers, the religious leaders, the opinion leaders, governmental leaders, the academia, even youth leaders, and be able to sit down with our sons, if possible kneeling down, begging them, please, for our common good, let's not go beyond this level of quarrel.
That's what second.
But that was not done. So the separation took place.
I appreciate the fact that you said it's a lot of people have to come in, like the Igbos who say Igwe, right? All hands on deck. But sometimes you have found out that if you have commitment to a process, others might not be genuinely committed to that process.
That's right.
And if you want to get them on board to try to resolve the case, you might just be causing yourself some distraction that's avoidable, because people get involved in all kind of things for different reasons, and you never know what they are up to until, well, maybe those of you who have the opportunity of praying and seeing through men sometimes, the Lord helping you, because some people progress with crisis. You might just sit down and say, okay, let me get this chief, let me get this pastor, let me get that. You don't know behind what happens. So what I'm trying to make here is, if you're genuinely committed to transformation, to redemption, do you need people to be part of it? Because you are sure of yourself. You know what you want to do. These other people are not too sure. For some time, some people want to be like, they want to be here, they want to be here, they want to be good with everybody. I think it's Revelation 16:3, when the Bible says about you are neither hot nor cold. What do? You spit out. So if people they are not sure of are coming into a meeting with you, what kind of result do you want from that process?
First of all, for every meeting there is a vanguard. There's somebody who will definitely spearhead it.
Precisely.
The person must have done a proper homework, and then you go to the next level, and then you get to the next level. The first meeting with our sons shouldn't just be a bandwagon of everybody coming in, but someone must be able to have done a very good groundwork on both sides, and then to the next level. So by the time the number of persons who can now come, it's like I said, if there is reconciliation will lead to reintegration, and until there's reintegration, reconstruction is not possible. So for such reconciliation,
the three arrows,
reconciliation, reintegration, and then reconstruction. Yes, but if we try to do reconstruction when there's no genuine reconciliation, to even reintegrate the people back into the mainstream, it has not been done. How do you then reconstruct? So a vanguard, somebody must be led, somebody must be prepared to be able to say, okay, I won't sit back and watch. Let me see what I can do. And I do believe that if God raises someone like that and is able to, it may take sacrifice. You talk and talk.
Are you willing to take that sacrifice, to make that sacrifice?
See, as a Port Harcourt boy, if there is anything I can do to enjoy this city, it hurts to know that every Friday and every Saturday, the planes that come in from Lagos or from Abuja are Port Harcourt boys and girls who don't live here anymore. Our local economy is moved down to Lekki or Victoria Island or Ikeja or Maitama or Asokoro. That's where our Port Harcourt boys and girls go to spend their money. And then by the weekends, they come in with Dana Air, Airic, and then they just attend one function and the other. They run back to the airport again. It hurts. So if I want to see a Port Harcourt boy, must I go to Lagos or Abuja to see a Port Harcourt boy? So whatever that can bring us back again, let our city bubble the way it used to be before. If the onus is on me to do it, I'm going to do it.
Okay, well, Apostle Ziliagri, I appreciate your taking responsibility, and the picture you painted, it set me back memory lane also, how Port Harcourt used to be. I cannot claim
when we talk about memory lane,
hang on a minute.
We're talking about generational issues. I said memory. What memory lane do you have?
Because you may have memories of 78 and 9. I have my memories of 81 and 82.
Me from 1970.
81 and 82. Port Harcourt was so very much pleasant.
Oh yeah, true. That's true.
So, I've listened quietly to all you've said, and you're passionate about this. I see that. However, I will put this to you directly. What are you doing personally to try and catch the youth? Because they're the ones who are being used to perpetuate most of everything that's happening. They've been misguided. You said we've lost our children? How do we catch? How are you? What are you doing right now to try and bring them back?
I must confess to you, apart from the preaching of the Word of God, for them to know the principles of Jesus and the person of Jesus Christ, His power and His purposes and all of that, which we are doing in our own little way. But that wouldn't bring about the change we're talking about. You see, my concept and my belief is this, my transformation theology, which I'm developing, is this. Where people are not gainfully employed and engaged with meaningful activities, then there is a pool where these young men can always be recruited, because I, Pastor Zele, can't afford to give them recharge cards. I can't pay rents for them. But there's someone who is ready to pay rent, buy cars, and they will listen to that person more than me. So for us to solve this, it means that a deliberate program of industrialization on small scale, medium scale, and high scale that will engage this number of people. You know, you can't go to Shell and recruit a boy in Shell to come and carry ballot box for you. No, you can't go to Chevron. Now, look at Lagos. There are boys in Lagos today. They don't know where Alausa is. They live in Ikeja. They don't have time to go there. Too many industries. They have seaport. They have everything going on there. But here, you find out that as the industry, where is our water glass boat yard?
It's disappeared.
Where are all our industries? Anytime we do, that is why whoever you must appoint as your commissioner for commerce and industry in a state like River State must not only know Delta State Hotel, Presidential Hotel, commerce and industry, whoever. In fact, if we have a way, we should get a South Korean business guru, beg the House of Assembly. Let's allow this man to be an expected commissioner for commerce and industry, and attach a commissioner for industry of state, or whatever you want to call it, to understudy him. If we industrialize and there is gainful employment, 3 benefits. Number 1, the people you employ will pay taxes, so they fund revenue. Number 2, crime rate will go low, because when a man goes to work by 7, closes by 4, he comes home, he watches television, the number of boys on the streets you can recruit. So industrialization, that's one major thing, because if we do every other thing and there are no jobs, take Nigeria for example, 11.6 million unemployed graduates with certificates. Liberia is less than 6 million people. So the number of unemployed graduates, not unemployed people, graduates with certificate, are more than the whole of Liberia, more than the whole of Gambia. Gambia is just 11 million people. And just imagine 11.6 million people paying taxes of 3,000 naira every single month. Do you know what government is losing for not creating jobs? Why do we import from China? We can create industries and take over the West African sub-region, so that people in the West African sub-region don't import anything from China anymore. What is it they are manufacturing there we cannot manufacture here?
Beautiful. So, having said that, do you have a program targeted at the youth specifically?
What we are doing now with the youths is, first of all, preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to them, and tell them that after this life, there is another life. We do that. But you see, while they are hoping for eternal life, their stomachs must be fed. And as a church, we do not have government subventions. We do not have the type of resources to create the industries. That's why we are pleading with those in positions of responsibility. We are not contesting election with anybody. We only have an advice. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? If you do this, we are not lording it over you. We may be pastors, but some pastors may be well-read, well-connected. But where you don't have an opportunity to talk to some people, what are you going to do? You just pray about it.
That's just might be a point where I want to ask. You have fantastic ideas, and you tell those in authority, we think this is a way forward. And the suggestion you've made is based on facts, verifiable facts. And they turn against you, or they refuse to listen to you. Do we just sit down, fold our arms and do nothing to say you don't want to lord it over them? I'm aware of the fact that at the end of the day, there's not anybody who's made it, in quotes now, in government, who's not gone to one church or the other.
That's right.
For Thanksgiving. And like we said in our prologue, if somebody gets into a process, it's a difficult job here for me now, so nobody accuses you of being partisan, but I know it's something all the political parties are guilty of. If it's not your church, it's Salvation, it is Mountain of Fire, it is a Catholic Church and Anglican Church, but people go to say, Lord, thank you. Lord, thank you for what? For allowing me kill people, for allowing me subvert the law using the instruments of the state against the people. At what point should the church now say, no, enough of this? Cardinal Sin in Philippines mobilized the people against Marcos. Desmond Tutu in South Africa mobilized the blacks and the world against apartheid. In Nigeria, at what point will we have the church especially, get up and say, no, I don't care what you feel about me. What you do here is wrong. We're not going to take it. There's nothing wrong with church leaders saying, don't vote for this man. He's a bad man. When will we get to that point?
Let me give you one testimony or something that 10 years ago, January precisely, at the city of Abuja, we were having very top key Christian leaders, some from outside the country, some from within. And after every session, we will retire to the conference room, and I proposed the development of a transformation theology. And that this transformation theology should have principles that are agreeable, that can transform any society, even if you are not a Christian. Okay. It means that these are principles that whether you are Muslim or you are Hindu, you know this is good, that we should develop it. And then I propose that there should be a preachers, teachers network, because the preachers of the gospel or the leaders of religion, they are the ones that speak to the people on a weekly basis. They have influence. Then the academia, the professors, the lecturers in the university. So I said, let the teachers of the religion and the teachers of academics come together, and that this transformation theology should be taught in every class, from primary school to secondary school to university, in our churches, in every government office, every 12 o'clock for 15 minutes, even in our military barracks, in the police stations. Now, this current president did something when he was a military man. Yes, it's agreed he achieved it with military degrees and fiat. But in 20 months, General Muhammadu Buhari, from 1983, 31st of December, to 1984 and 1985, before he was removed, brought about war against indiscipline. Yes, they used force, but Nigerians started lining up.
That's what we understand.
Now, you see, transformation theology is a process of indoctrinating a people within a period of time to change their behavioral patterns. The moment transformation theology takes its root, whereby people now know the importance of time management, patriotism, which is love for your people, obligation to credit, thrift to time, and all of that, it becomes part of our lives. When it becomes part of our life, believe me, Nigerians are the best human beings you can manage on this earth. They are the best human beings who can adjust to any situation and circumstance. I propose that. I developed some things, but I am not the national leader, and I'm not the one that will, up till this moment. January this year, we held a meeting at Victoria Island. We were invited by some group I won't mention, and I still told them, listen, 10 years ago I did this. If what I teach for 15 minutes in Royal House of Grace, the Catholic priest before his major sermon teaches the same thing, that every church is teaching the same thing 15 minutes before every sermon. The Muslims are teaching the same thing 15 minutes before every time of their prayer. You go to Uniport, you go to Unitech, every secondary school, every teacher is teaching the same thing. In 2 years' time, we have indoctrinated, and our lifestyle changes, and it's easy to rule, and we solve this problem.
The program is Democracy in Action. My name is Kingsley Wenendawali. My guest this morning, Apostle Zili Agri. We're talking about transformational theology, according to Apostle Zili, and overall we're looking at how to get our city back. We're people who have been tormented for so long. We want this city back the way it should be, the way it was before, so that we can move through reconciliation, reintegration, and reconstruction. You can join this discussion by calling 0815-959-51 951 0815-5951-951 0817-0000-951 0817-0000-951 or send your text messages to 0810-9510-951. Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sure you're in a hurry to get anointing this morning.
Yeah, I greet you people in this video.
Your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Splendid.
Okay.
I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, you have 30 seconds for your contribution.
In the actual sense, I'm not supposed to use my money to call any radio station in this country, because this country is not doing anything for the people. The people who have at the political aim of affairs are there for their personal aggrandizement. They are not there for the people. With all due respect, I disagree with the pastor in the church, in the studio there. He has evaded the questions put to him directly. What are you doing on your own? You rigmarole and come back to the same thing that we need to do. We need to do. Nothing has been done. Nothing is being done.
Okay, Splendid. 1 second. Splendid, 1 second. Did you hear him say he attended a program in Lagos just this January?
I heard everything 10 years ago. You know
no, he didn't say 10 years ago. January this year.
Good. No. I am talking about you build a school, and send people to that school free of charge. Somebody is doing that. I don't want to call name. A church is doing it in Port Harcourt. He built a school. If you say you are not rich, you don't have money to send your children to school.
Could you please concentrate on the topic this morning and not in personal? We're talking about peace. How to bring.
No, I haven't said that. Let me come directly now. Okay. Yes, we can gain our city back. Let him start. He has those two people as friends. You shouldn't need somebody to come and tell him you do this, you do that. You should have longer before now call those two people. My brother. For the sake of the people of Rivers State, for the sake of the people of Port Harcourt, please let us bury the hatchet.
Okay, thank you very much. Your point is gotten. Thank you.
You know, interestingly, I was just going to say, listening to him, he's very passionate, obviously. You can take a horse to the water. You know what they say about horses?
I'm not a horse, son. I'm not taking any horse to any water, so there's no way I'm going to know.
So him saying that he should talk to both of them, he has spoken, I believe. You have spoken to both of them. And they're both adults, so it's up to them to now decide to toll the path to peace.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You have Apostle Zilagri here with this morning. Now, I'm not the one. I'm saying he is my guest this morning, so speak with him. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Daniel. I'm calling from OGRA.
Okay, Daniel. Daniel was the one that Lion's Den. When did you come out of the Lion's Den?
that was in the Bible.
Okay. Okay, fire them, bro.
Yes, I really don't have problem when people disagree. I'm using the two actors in River State. I don't have a problem in life. People disagree. People should even disagree. But in trying to hold an entire state is my own problem, and that is where I have to come in.
So, what question do you have for Apostle Zili this morning? Or what question or suggestion do you have for him?
My worry, because I wasn't born in River State. I came here some few years ago.
Okay.
I have not seen during the last election. It was an eye opener for me, especially that you have the pastors, you have their Royal Highnesses queuing behind political parties. And it was very unfortunate. And so
I don't agree with you, my brother. I don't agree with you, Daniel. Everybody, whether you're a pastor, you're a bishop, you are an imam, you're a human being, and you have a right to be part of the political process. Do you understand? You cannot afford to be neutral, but what I think we should be talking about is that in your neutrality, you should do that which is right. Is that what this should be about?
Yes. No. What I am saying is that I have heard pastors make pronouncements where you ask yourself, did this man say this? So that is exactly where I'm going now. Okay. My question then is that, do they have a body that really examines some of these men of God and actually prescribe punishment for some of them, or everybody I just open a church and I'm not under anybody and no regulations to guide me? That's my question.
Thank you very much.
Before we come to you, Mr. Ross.
Hello.
Where are you?
Missing in action, MIA.
Okay. What's up?
Great. It's good to have a possibility.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
You've already said Mr. Ross.
My name is Ross Alabojo. You're calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Apostle, good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother Ross.
It's good to listen to Apostle Billy Agwe this morning. He's one of those evangelists who have, transformed Pentecostalism in the region, and so it's pretty excited to have him in the studio. And I want to believe, and I know very well that people like him have been part of that strong process, trying to strengthen democratic leadership, in this period. I know he was very active in the press between 1999 and 2005. I think I followed up his ministry quite a lot at that period. For me, I don't think there's anything wrong with religious organizations and religious groups queuing and taking position in the democratic dispensation. In the United States of America, we know that the evangelical groups are mostly Republican. They are largely Republican. Because certain groups, certain organizations, certain political ideas conform with Christian norms and societal values. And so my question for Apostle Billy Agwe is this: what is the role, knowing that the church has been part of government in the past? Not in Nigeria exactly. We need to have what they call theocratic government. We had a situation where the Roman Catholic Church was at some time, in charge of the entire world. What does Apostle Billy Agwe think is the role of the church in politics?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Ross.
First of all, the church, when you talk about the church, one of the major areas the church have not achieved much is to develop a common vision. Denominationalism is stronger than the common vision of the church. So much so that if a man belongs to a particular denomination, it will be so difficult for him to listen to any other person who is not part of his denomination, unless his bishop or his archbishop or his apostle or his prophet talks to him. So because we've not been able to achieve that, most of the countries where the church has played a major role is that they forgot about denominational differences, developed a common agenda agreeable to all the denominations, and then they pursue it. And what we are trying to do here right now in Nigeria is to see how we can start talking to ourselves as church leaders. Let us reduce this denominational thing to the barest minimum and begin to talk about the common good of our people. Develop an agenda. Let me say, let the Americans say, okay, they have the American dream, What is the Niger Delta dream? What is the Nigerian dream? When you look to the Yoruba side of Nigeria, they have one thing going on well for them: the language, homogeneous. The man in Ondo State will say, Omo Baoni Kobad. The one in Lagos say, Omo Baoni Kobad. The one in Osun State, Ogun State. One language helps them because language is very powerful. And then you also go to the northern part, the Hausa Fulani. They have this language and their faith brings them together. But when you come to our side, take Delta State, for example, you now talk about the Soko man, the Yoruba man, the Anioma man, Shekiri. Then when you now come to our own Rivers Bayelsa angle here, you'll be too shocked the number of, in fact, you at the time you may even be shocked. And Eleme man say, I'm not an Ogoni man, although we are Ogoni. And then the Kana man, the Gokana man, then the Andoni man, then the Opobo man. What's the difference between the Boni man and the Opobo man? Before you know what,
Pastor,
so that difference.
Yeah, you said the Ogoni man, you call up. You didn't call Roma Lobo.
No.
And don't forget that I can go and demand for Bachigram close to the job.
So We have 4 equally speaking local
Thank you very
governments.
much.
You understand? If you are not careful, before you know what's happening, even the Mohammed may think that he's not an, Ishoko man is different
how
from
do you
him.
not equally sound?
You know all those kind of
There's already
things.
that.
Those things until we have a program that will debrief the minds of our people to say, I am a Rivers man. I don't want to know whether you are from the up or the south. You are a Rivers man. Can you score the goal for us? So we are looking for a goal scorer, not a player. If you can be our Kanu anchor to score goals for us, please go there and score the goals. Is that Nigeria won the match is the most important thing. The Rivers people are happy is the most important thing. So the Christian churches are today, it's unfortunate. I'm confessing, first of all, I started by saying that we failed. And I agree that, including me, we've not been able to come up with that level of unity to develop a common agenda where the entire Christian church will come together. That's why if you watch well now, people come to politics not that the church sent them.
Yeah.
They belong to one congregation, sponsor themselves. So even when they are doing anything, the church leadership can't even call them to order because they say, is it the church that sponsored me? Exactly. Because another church is going to welcome him if he leaves that church right now. Yes. But if the entire church comes together and sponsor a person, say this person is worthy. If the person is going wrong, then the entire church can call the person to order. But as of today, it's very difficult to call any of these gentlemen to order.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from, please. You have 30 seconds.
Okay, I'm calling from Port Harcourt. I'm David.
Okay.
I want to ask one of your guests a question. I know that there is a leadership person at the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. So what is he doing to resolve the crisis?
The crisis have been resolved. A new executive of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria was inaugurated two Tuesdays ago, about 2 weeks now.
Okay, thank you, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Good morning, the pastor.
Okay, we're discussing Port Harcourt, Rivers State, and the Niger Delta.
I heard you very well. I want to ask the pastor. My name is Larry, calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Sir, please, after the election, because I heard you were very active in that 2016.
We can barely hear you. I don't know if you want to speak up or maybe it's a network. Maybe you try and call back.
Okay, can you hear me very well now?
Better now.
Yes.
Okay. What I'm asking is that I thought the pastor was very active during 2016 election, and the election is over. What step has he made to reconcile the president, Governor Newton Wike, with Rotimi Amechi, who he had earlier illustrated how they work as a chief of staff and all that, they have a good relationship. As a man of God, I'm not side or not even contributing to even the violence we see today. Which the church is.
If I'm not mistaken, what your question is what is it doing to bring back peace in the land through trying to get the two major gladiators to the round table to discuss, I guess?
That is exactly what I'm asking.
Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, we just finished a 5 days fasting and prayer program. Not only our church, over 100 and something churches in their different places fasting and praying and asking God for so many things for our nation, national level, regional level, the state. Also praying to soften the heart of our leaders so that they can also realize, who am I leading? A people. For their good, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if I am leading a people for their good, it means that any sacrifice I make is for the good of those people.
Yes.
So if reconciliation is part of the sacrifices for the good of the people, then that's, but prayers must go on first. So we may be doing our own little best, but our best may not be good enough. But I can tell you that we are not just folding our hands. We are praying and we are looking for ways to be able to talk to people gradually, because when an injury is fresh, it takes time to heal. You don't expect the injury to start immediately and then it heal immediately. There are so many complex situations that can't even be discussed on radio.
We don't have that much of time to really go ahead, but I want a personal commitment from you before she comes in. If you notice, a lot of people who called were like, what are you doing?
Yes.
It's not an indictment. It's a recognition of the fact that you are part and parcel of this state, and that what negative drawdowns that we get affect you and I. So it's a function of a duty more, which you are not at liberty to say, I don't want to, I want to. They're saying, recognizing the fact that you as an individual have a role to play in this. Considering the fact that you're a Port Harcourt boy, which you have never been ashamed of, you say it, you are a man of God, you lead people, the two people who are involved are your friends. They might not accept when you tell them the truth, but the fact remains that they're friends. And there are a lot of people in your church, they're either in PDP or APC. What are you doing in definitive terms? Or what are you promising us this morning that you're going to do in definitive terms?
First of all, whenever these things happen, even you become a victim, first of all, because even your friends may look at you. Is it really for me or is it not for me? And the rest of them is, oh my God, but I'm a clergyman. You are for the people. We are all for the people. And so that initial shock could make some of us say, okay, let me stay and watch. But I think that at this level now, with what we are saying here in the studio, I'll first of all go and pray. And I can say that I will start a process in my own little way, and God directing me. And I believe that the gentlemen and the people, not just two persons, the people involved, they are human beings. And for every man on the face of the earth, there is at least one human being he listens to. So after prayer, we may be able to find out those they listen to, and we may be able to talk to those people first of all, to talk to them and say, please, for the good of our... Look at Nelson Mandela. Something that touches me about that late hero of Africa. Nelson Mandela came out of prison after 27 years of pain. And then he ruled for 4 years. And they were telling him, just continue. And he said, no. And then he set up a reconciliation committee. And then he said, this is a rainbow nation. When he came out of jail, I was in South Africa. I went to a place called Hillbrow. The white men who own buildings all left their buildings either to Europe or Holland or any part of the world. They were so scared. They thought that Mandela was going to come for vengeance. Only for Mandela to say, no, come back. We are one people. And then after 4 years, he gave it to another gentleman. And he kept on pleading. Say, please, for whatever that has happened in the past,
let it remain in the past.
Let it remain in the past. Let's move on. Mandela was able to do that. He spoke to people. There was a day he was having lunch with a very big friend of his, and then he asked his friend, you came alone? He said, yes. He said, then he asked his friend, did you drive yourself? He said, no, my driver brought me. Then why did you leave him in the car? He's a South African. Bring him to come eat with us. And they went and brought the driver, and the driver sat with President Nelson Mandela, and they ate together. And the man said he will never remain the same, that Mandela felt for even a driver.
To let our leaders here
yes,
feel for even a driver.
Even the driver. Okay. So I do believe that the process is starting. And let us remember, it's about our people, traumatized people, impoverished people. When you and I go to Dubai, we go to Doha, we go to Kuwait and all these countries, and we come back here. This is a city with 2 refineries, 2 seaports, an international airport, a fertilizer company, multinational companies, the hub of petro activities in West Africa, and our boys don't have jobs. Our boys are taking drugs. Our sons and daughters, some prostitute, Rivers people, Niger Delta people. As at 2011, we were producing 2.1 million barrels of crude oil every single day. We were selling them for $115 per barrel. If you times it by 156 naira per dollar, then was about 38 billion coming out from the soil of the peoples of Niger Delta every 24 hours, minus gas. So we give the multinationals their 49% and we take 51% and share it from federal, state to this. Must we go through what we are going through? Are we not feeling for our people? It's our collective responsibility. I'm not putting the blame on anybody. Hey, Niger Delta, Port Harcourt boys, Rivers boys, I beg, make we shine eye, open eye. Let's come together, forget the past. Unite for the sake of our unborn children, so that we will not hand over a Port Harcourt that will become a Somalia.
That would have been a better way of actually ending this program than that. That's where you're who you are, the Port Harcourt boy.
And I just want to come in, since you're so committed, real quick, since you're so committed to this, all I will say is Mbalio.
Amen. Thank you.
No, I don't know where that came out from.
She was speaking in tongues.
Pastors really agree.
Yes.
easily.
Thank you.
We can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
I'm holding you to your words.
Yeah.
The next time I'll bring you here is to come and give the testimony.
And I'm also praying that our people will learn to honor those who are in positions of responsibility.
That's
There's a difference
another thing.
between an individual and an office. So we should respect offices that people occupy. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The program is Democracy in Action. The peace conversation continues. There are some other people who were here, but unfortunately, they couldn't get because of time pressures. Eugene Bell, thanks for being here with us. Jennifer, thanks. My friend Kelechi Jeffrey, thanks for coming. Pastor, like I said, I can't thank you enough. God bless you and have a wonderful weekend. For those of you out there, I can't say more. You've heard him. Like you say, so I'm not calling you a horse. You heard from the horse's mouth. And it can't be any better put. You have a wonderful weekend and God bless you. I remain Kingsley Wanenda Wali. Same time, same station next week. I'll meet you here. Bye-bye.